We have on the telephone John Slusser, the head coach of the Ridgewood Generals, and last night in West Lafayette, Ridgewood beat Claymont 49-19 as expected. Good morning, John. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Mike.
And, we're just a week away from the playoffs, so we've got that to look forward to. But looking back at last night, again, you were expected to beat Claymont. Perhaps handily, 49-19. Any highlights of that game that you can share with us? Get off to a good start.
We scored first. It was a 7-7 game. I thought we played pretty well last night, especially offensively. I thought we did a lot of good things. We ran the ball well. We threw it well. We had a big punt return last night. Matt Humphrey had a 78-yard punt return. So a lot of good things to go around. We played a lot of kids last night. It was a good way to end the home season.
Well, it was the last regular season game for your seniors. Did you do anything special with the seniors last night?
Nope, just tried to win a game for them. Thought that was special enough for them last night.
How many seniors do you have on your team this year, approximately?
15.
Okay. And so next week you are at Garaway, one that you've had circled all season. And Garaway and Ridgewood, your seasons have gone in a similar fashion, each team with one loss, both for the same team, Indian Valley. So what are your thoughts on preparing for Garaway next week?
They're always such a challenge because they just do an extremely good job. They got it going on right now. Their program's in good shape. They've got kids that believe in what they're doing. They've got a great coaching staff. It's always a challenge. But it's one of the best games to play in all year. Certainly look forward to it. Certainly feel blessed to be able to always play in this game. Both teams are always pretty good. A lot of respect. It's just a great rivalry. It really is. We're excited.
What do they do well? What does the scouting report say about Garaway?
They do everything well, Mike. They throw it, they run it, they play defense. They're a good football team.
All right. Now, it used to be Week 9 that we talk about the playoffs and the computer rankings, and I always look forward to that, talking to you and hearing you and Tom talking about the computer ratings. So that's when there was 8 teams that went to the playoffs. Now 16 teams in each division. So it's not your team is going to go to the playoffs, no doubt about that. But looking at the unofficial but usually accurate rankings from Joe Itel, and he's got you 5th in your division. So, your thoughts?
We think if we win this week, we'll end up probably 3rd, which will be 2 home games. If we are unable to win this week, we think we'll probably be in the 6-7 range, which will give us 1 home game, and then we'll go on the road the second game. It's a little bit different with 16 teams, but it's still playoffs. It's still an exciting time, and it's still playing usually people you haven't played before. So, we're excited for what's up ahead. Football's a long season, but this is the time you wait for, the end of the year, when, you just can't wait to play these games. Kind of look forward to them all season.
Well, and Garaway, as you mentioned, there is more at stake than just beating Garaway, the potential of another home playoff game as well. So that's a little extra incentive.
Absolutely, but you don't need a whole lot of extra incentive to want to beat Garaway.
Understood. Now, I asked you about this last week or the week before, but Ridgewood is in Division 6 this year. Looking forward to the playoffs and the division rankings. There's no Ironton. There's no Wheelersburg. There's not those teams that you've faced many times in the past. What are your thoughts on being in Division 6 this year, and what that means moving forward into the playoffs?
Well, for one, we're glad to be rid of those teams and making those trips down there. But it's more, we think we're more a Division 6 school. We've always been one of the smaller schools in Division 5 every year. We'd always make it over just by 5, 6 boys. So now we're one of the bigger schools in Division 6. So obviously that always adds to your advantage. When your numbers fall, where you're the bigger school. We think we have a chance to be real competitive in our region that we're in. although you never know till you actually play the game, we think we match up pretty well in that region. So our kids know that, and we're excited for it as coaches, and I think our fans are caught on it. It's a good setup for us.
Have you scouted or looked into any of the other teams in that division and who you might be facing in the first round of the playoffs, or is it too early and too complicated for that yet?
Oh, no. Absolutely, Mike. We watch everybody in that region play all the time. That's what we do. We've been doing it since week 3 or 2 or maybe even week 1. We've watched all of them play a bunch. You know what you're getting into. With the way the huddle is anymore, you can trade tapes. Everybody has 100 tapes on everybody. So you can pretty much watch any team, any game, anywhere. Plus, the way people stream them now, too. So even scouting is way different than it used to be. It used to be hard to get tapes on people. Now everybody has 10 tapes of everybody else.
Well, there's some familiar teams in that division. Newcomerstown is in that division as well. They are currently ranked 8th, according to Joe Eitel. There's Buckeye Trail in that division, and let's see, who else? Rosecrans, but also some teams that maybe you've never had the opportunity to face before. They're towards the top. Northmore comes to mind. You know anything about Northmore?
I've seen them play 3 or 4 times. They're pretty good. They throw it around. They've got a quarterback who's really good. They've got 2 really good receivers. They put up a lot of points. Got turf field. It's really nice. Yeah, I know a little bit about them. The teams, like you said, it's nice because you get some more local teams in there. Fort Fry's a game that we've wanted to play for a lot of years, and we just can never work it out. They're in there with us. Caldwell's in there, who we used to play many, many years ago. So there's a lot more of the local flavor. Monroe Central, who we've always wanted to play and never had the chance. Like you said, Buckeye Trail. It's going to be a different look, but we're excited about it.
Okay, well, we will talk about this more, I'm sure, more in depth next week. And I want to thank you for spending some time with us and getting ready for Garaway. And we'll talk again next week, John.
Thanks, Mike. You have a great day.
You too. That's John Slusser, the head coach of the Ridgewood Generals. We have more to come on Football Saturday. We have on the phone Steve Smith, the head coach of the Coshocton Redskins. Last night on the road, Coshocton lost to West Muskingum 44-0, falling to 1-8 on the season. And first of all, good morning, Coach. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
And, Steve, we were chatting before we went on the air here, and you had some issues with penalties, but turnovers, you only had one?
Yeah, we had a turnover. We had an interception early, but it was deep in their territory. So we actually were able to get an interception ourselves on the next possession. So we were able to overcome that mistake. The score was really only 8-0 then at the end of the first quarter. West got the momentum in the second quarter and poured it on.
Oh, it is a tough league, no doubt about that. Now, last week, you picked up your first win of the season, a very spirited 45-29 win over Crooksville. Was the level of competition, West Muskingum, that much higher this week, or was there a bit of regress from last week? How would you characterize that?
Our kids played hard. West is 2 plays away from being undefeated right now. They're an excellent football team. They have playoff aspirations. But I just feel like the penalties impacted our execution. We had a lot of situations where we were, first or second and 25 last night in the second quarter. So there's not many plays in the playbook that can overcome that. But the West is definitely a very good football team. They're well coached, and they got a lot of players right now.
You hung with them early, but what did they do in the second half that gave you trouble? What did they do well?
They were able to run the football. They have a very good running back. He's powerful. He's very hard to tackle. Their quarterback's an excellent athlete also. So they were able to run the football to set up their play-action passing, and and we weren't able to get anything going offensively consistently to keep them off the field. So they were able to impose their will by the end of the first half.
Well, next week you'll be hosting Riverview. That'll be the last game of the season for both teams. Neither team's going to be going to the playoffs, and so that will be the last game for your seniors. How do you approach that from that perspective? How many seniors do you have on your team?
I have 9 seniors.
Okay.
It's senior night. We're at home. It's a crosstown rival game, so our seniors always get up for that game. They'll be excited to play that game this week. Anytime that you get to play against your county rival, that gives that little extra momentum going into week of practice and Friday night.
Well, and adjacent school district, everybody knows each other, and really will expect a packed stadium at Stewart Field next Friday night. Steve, as always, thank you for your time on Football Saturday, and looking forward to speaking with you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Steve Smith, the head coach of the Coshocton Redskins. We have more to come on Football Saturday. We have on the phone Tom Losecki, the head coach of the Riverview Black Bears, and last night at Don Rushing Stadium, it was Morgan over Riverview, 62-7. And Coach, good morning. Thank you as always for being with us today. Another tough night for the Bears, but are there any highlights or things about last night's game that you would like to share with us?
Well, good morning, Mike, and thank you for having me. The biggest highlight last night for us was, Gavin Huff had a nice, big, long touchdown run in the, third, fourth quarter. So, it was a tough night for the boys last night. We didn't play our best. We played much better in the second half, but it was a rough night for us last night.
Well, and it was senior night, and your team, as we pointed out all season, your team is very, very young. A lot of freshmen on the field. How many seniors did you have this year?
We had 9 seniors, 8 seniors this year.
And so what did you do special for the seniors, recognition before, during, or after last night's game?
We had our recognition before the game for the seniors, and thank them for what they've done for our program and for helping keeping Riverview football going. And if it wasn't for those 8 seniors and our young kids, we may not be talking here on Saturday mornings. And
now next week, going to wrap up the season at Coshocton. The players, the fans, the coaches, administrators all know each other. I talked to Coach Smith about this, but what does a game like this, what does this final game of the season between Coshocton and Riverview mean to both communities?
I mean, it's huge for both communities. As a school, we always want to try to beat our neighbors and beat our rivals. And, for our kids, one, we want to send our seniors out on a high note with a victory. And then for our young kids, it's a building block for us for the future and to show that where we're at and where we're going. So, it's going to be an exciting week. It's a big week for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay. Look forward to speaking with you about that game next week and looking back on the season and the future. And as always, I want to thank you for spending some time with us here on Football Saturday.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
That's Tom Losecki, the head coach of the Riverview Black Bears. We have more to come on Football Saturday.